Hey guys, what's up? This is Mel, and I'm here to talk about The 100, episode 306, titled Bitter Harvest, which premiered Thursday, February 25th, 2016 on the CW. Guys, I'm so sorry for the delay. Technology and life just got in the way and started piling up, so it was only until now that I was able to watch the episode and record. So let's get started, 10-minute clock, and let's begin. Something new that we learned in this episode. Three different storylines were happening in this episode. First one was dealing with the whole city of like pills or chips. I'm just going to call them pills because that's what it looks like. So basically, Jaha is distributing them throughout Arcadia as more and more people are coming because of the fact that Raven seems to be on board with it. Abby is trying to figure out if these pills have any side effects, and she's realizing with Raven that there are no... she doesn't feel any pain. Her leg is still not working like it should, but she's not feeling any pain, which Raven is happy for. So Abby wants to get to the bottom of it, and she realizes that these pills are eliminating more than just pain. And she sees this when Jaha doesn't react to Wells's name. He doesn't react to his own son's name, and automatically she knows that something is up. And we see this earlier on as well when Jasper brought up Finn's actions to Raven, and she didn't even flinch. She didn't even show any emotion in the fact that she had a connection with this person that he was talking about. So I think it doesn't just take away any pain. It takes away all emotions, I believe. And it just keeps them in this euphoric state, thinking that if they don't feel any pain, then they only need to feel happiness. But from the looks of it, Jaw doesn't associate... It felt like with him and Raven, the two people that they've lost are both loved ones, and yet when their names were brought up, they didn't react at all. So that's a little disconcerting in itself, and that has Abby very suspicious. Also, on the sideline, we see Allie trying to get Raven to find a version 2 of her code within the Arcadia computer systems that were once on the 12 stations in space. Apparently, this version 2 of the code, though, is what ended the world. Reason why Raven's not being told this is because Murphy knew about it through his time in that containment bunker, and he was not on board this crazy train with them. So because he knew the truth, he walked away. So they're worried that if Raven knew the truth, she'd walk away too. Because already she was having questions about something being wrong with Allie's coding if there had to be a version 2 of her coding. So there's that. Also, we got a name for Station 13 that was scrubbed from the record books from Arcadia as the lone station that wasn't part of their Unity deal, and it turns out the name is Polaris, and I'll get right back to it later on. Next story point had to deal with Pike sending out his men for soil and water samples because they need to find a way to grow more crops because they estimated that within a year they're going to run out of food. And the best place around that is in Sector 4, where there is a grounder village. So they try to target them to take over the spot. Octavia overhears all this through Kane, who has placed a hidden walkie-talkie in Pike's office, courtesy of help from Miller. So Octavia tries to warn the grounder village, but it backfires on her. And in the end, it's Monroe, Zoe Monroe that is, who is killed, as well as another Sky Crew member that we didn't name. So there's that as well. And then because of this, because Octavia knew of a mission that she wasn't supposed to, Pike realizes that there is a traitor within them, and he has an idea who, but he wants proof of their traitorous attitudes and stuff like that. So final story point is from Polis itself. Turns out that King Rowan has given Clark a gift, and that is the surviving mountain man, Carl Emerson, who was aligned with the Ice Queen before. And King Rowan is giving Emerson to Clark as a show of his alliance to Waheda and the Coalition. So because of Emerson's arrival, Clark is now given the deciding vote as to the fate of Emerson, whether he is to be killed by 49 cuts dealt by her, similar to how Gustus had to die in 209, or he's going to be banished from the commander's land. So while that's all being happening until Judgment Day, I guess you could say. Titus is trying to get Clark to sway Lexa away from the blood must not have blood rule that she's now started to go with, but she doesn't, because she knows if she does, that's going to start a war with her Arcadian people. So when it comes to the trial of Emerson, Clark doesn't kill him, which is what he was kind of going for. Instead, Lexa banishes him, and I'll bring that up later on as well. And the end of the episode shows Titus harshly interrogating and beating Murphy up for information about Clark and about what he knows about the City of Light pills. So that was pretty surprising. Now moving on, what was the most shocking moment of the episode? The reveal of Polaris. At the very end of the episode, Jaha reveals that Station 13 was named Polaris, and then the episode cuts to a shot of Titus beating on Murphy, yet this camera pans to part of what is assumed to be part of Station 13, with POL shown on this pod, which looks very similar to what Raven dropped down from the sky with back in 105. Now it has me wondering if the name Polis for the city, for the capital city for the Grounders, Polis is taken from Polaris from that station. So that just has me wondering what the hell that connection is, and maybe they both have the same origin point, I guess. I don't even know, but it just sucks that the episode ended right at that point. So I just can't wait to figure out more on what there is behind Polaris. And apparently that version 2 of the code was on Polaris, or it's speculated to be on there. So hopefully we'll get more answers about that later. So top 3 favorite moments of the episode. Kinda not gonna lie, it was kinda hard to pick, because I didn't know what to consider as my favorite moments. Usually I'd know right off the bat which was my favorite, but this episode kind of didn't really give me that feeling. But first one has to be Kane and Octavia, their teamwork, the fact that they were communicating over the walkie-talkies. I really like that. I really like the partnership. I mentioned it last time when I said that I like their scenes together, and I'm definitely glad we're seeing more of it, and I hope they manage to evade Pike's search for the traitors, because I want to see more of them, for sure. Another favorite moment has to be Kane and Abby. Their brief scene in the medical bay, when Kane basically puts all the blame on himself because he's the one that demanded for an election, and which resulted in Chancellor Pike being put in charge. And then Abby kisses him on the cheek as a sign of hope, let's call it, she says. And I don't know, they've really come a long way, and I'm really glad for that. It's kind of like, if you think about it, Kane and Abby are kind of like the parallel version of Bellamy and Clark in the points of where they first started off back in season 1. In the first episode, they were at odds on opposite ends with each other, and they've slowly grown into their own partnerships, except now when we see Bellamy and Clark on opposite sides at this very moment, we see Kane and Abby trying to bring things together. So I do like that. I like how they're progressing and how they're trying to stay as a unit while trying to figure out all the troubles that are within Arcadia. Okay, next favorite moment, though, for me has to be the individual speeches that Clark and Lexa give to the masses during, I guess, what you can call Emerson's trial. Lexa does a very powerful speech about what it means for this whole blood must not have blood rule that they're trying to go for, and then Clark even has a little speech to Emerson about why she's not going to kill him, and why, or how she understands that killing him won't be for his actions but for what she had done to him. So it shows great understanding on Clark's part on what ramifications would happen. So there's that. Bonus favorite part would have to be King Rowan, although I wish we saw him, at least he was mentioned. But I like that specifically, I think I heard this correctly, but the announcement was that King Rowan gave Emerson back to Waheda, Clark, because he wanted to show his allegiance towards her. And then I don't know if Titus just added the afterthought of it being a sign of him joining the coalition and everything, but I took it as King Rowan reminding Clark, or inadvertently telling Clark, that he's on her side. So wherever she has her alliances, he's going to follow her, and I really hope that's the case, because I love that partnership between Clark and Rowan, and I really want to see more of that for sure. So top 3 peeved moments. First one is Bellamy still siding with Pike. Not going to go into it because it's going to keep on being a peeve of mine until he snaps out of it. Another peeve has to be that Zoe Monroe died just when we got her full name. I mean, I was surprised we actually got a full name from her, and then to find out that she died, that's just like, that's not fair. It's like the moment we finally learn more about these characters we've known since season 1, and then that's it, they're gone. There's the timer. So that just irritated me, and she was a good character too, and it's sad to see her go. Another peeve moment is Allie. I do not trust her. Again, her initials spell a lie. Plus, the moment she asked Raven to allow her to get access into Arcadia's mainframe, I was like, no, she's going to... It felt like she was going to put a virus in that thing or something. It's like, no way. You do not let an unknown entity into your main server like that. It's just like infecting your own stuff and whatnot. So it's like, no. So moving on, what moment will I remember most as I look back on the episode? The fact, well... Bitter harvest, so I guess you can kind of relate it to the fact that Pike was trying to scout for proper areas to grow crops and stuff. But then again, this episode mainly also focused on the fact that the City of Light Pills are taking over Arcadia from the looks of it. So random questions now. First one is, what is considered Lexa's land? I mean, she banished Emerson from her land, so just how far out does he have to go? And I'd be a lot worried about Emerson coming back to get his revenge on Clark just with that banishment. I mean it reminds me a lot about when Clark and Bellamy banished Murphy back in season 1, and what happened? He came back and tried to kill Bellamy. So like, okay, if this happens, if Emerson somehow comes back later on in the season and tries to kill Clark or get his revenge on Clark, then I am not going to be surprised whatsoever, because they basically set it up for themselves. If you have made an enemy of yourself, it makes logic in all these stories that you eliminate the enemy, or you make sure that you eliminate all chances of them coming back to attack you. So especially when Emerson, he made the claim that he wanted Clark to suffer and he wanted revenge against her, why would you let the guy go? There's no place far enough that he's going to be put that he can't find a way to get back to you and hurt you. I mean, yeah, you want to show that you're the bigger person and going by this new rule of yours, but when it comes down to it, I am not going to be sorry if he comes back and takes revenge on you by hurting the people you love or getting back at you. I'm not going to be surprised at all, so I'm just wondering what you guys thought about it, or that's kind of a two-parter question right there. But anyways, next question. Why does Titus want to know about Clark through Murphy? I mean, Murphy's not really the best one to ask, and it kind of makes me wonder what he would actually say, and if he'd actually reveal anything about Clark to Titus. I mean, even though Murphy hates Clark, I would hope that he'd still keep his mouth shut and keep secrets within the Sky Crew people, or even among the delinquents, and not reveal them to any outsiders such as Grounders. So, I don't know, hopefully Murphy holds out until Clark finds him, because I'm hoping for that too. Another random question. Is there any chance that the City of Light pills are turning all the people who take them into these emotionless humanoids? I'm getting the impression that they're slowly taking away the pain that they feel, but then I kind of feel like they're slowly taking away the other emotions as well, until they are left with the simulated happiness that they might be feeling, which is kind of like robotic and maybe turning them into Allie or something. I don't know, I just don't like it, I don't trust it, and yeah, you will not, if I was in that situation, you would not be seeing me drinking that Kool-Aid at all. And I just thought about another question just now. We saw later on that Jackson was part of the City of Light's Kool-Aid drinkers. So is there a chance that he lied to Abby about Raven's test results? Because he said that there was nothing abnormal about them. He said that they lined up with what she was saying. But now that he's part of that crazy group, could he be lying just so that he could get Abby to believe that the pills were a good thing? I don't know. I don't trust Jackson now, and he was such a good assistant for her too, or a good friend as well. And now he goes and does this. No, I'm not pleased whatsoever. So moving on to predictions. based on the 307 promo, it looks like the 12 clans want to retaliate against Sky Crew. Octavia's dragged there as the voice piece to state that they did try to attack the village. It looks like also that feelings between Clark and Lexa are brought up as clouding each other's judgment. So there's that. Lexa even yells at Titus about it from the looks of it. Based off the synopsis, though, we see Lexa dealing with rising hostility between the clans and Clark uncovering a game-changing truth. Also, apparently, we're going to see flashbacks of humanity's darker past. So maybe that's right when the nuclear apocalypse started, I guess you can say. So overall predictions, though, I believe we're going to learn more about Polaris. I hope we do. I'm hoping we have Clark find Murphy in Titus's hands, or I'm hoping for another 202 discovery where Clark found Anya in those cages. I'm hoping Clark pretty much does the same thing with Murphy. And it looks like Bellamy's going to get deeper into Pike's dark reign. I'm still waiting for that moment for Octavia to beat on Bellamy and disown him, because I believe that's the one moment that is going to snap him out of siding with Pike. So, since today was the 6th episode, I thought I'd start a new segment, and that is Mel's top 5 favorite episodes. Because before this one, it seemed redundant since all of them would be included. So, 2 versions. We got the ship-orientated top 5, and then we got the non-ship-orientated top 5. So let's go with the ship version. So, each week I'll tell you what's in the top 5 the previous week, and then whether or not this new episode fits in the top 5 or not. So, first one for the ship-orientated list has to be episode 302, and that is because of the close reunion between Bellamy and Clark. And the fact that the whole episode, Bellamy was so determined to find Clark. That was just number 1 favorite so far, for sure, in season 3. Number 2, episode 305 fight between Bellamy and Clark. I mean, even though they're at odds and they're fighting their heads off, I still loved the scene because of the fact that they finally said some words between each other. So that was my big reminder for that episode. Episode 304 comes in at number 3 because of Clark and Roan trying to team up and take out the Ice Queen. That's all I'm saying. That's just, they tried and failed, but they should really learn that if you're going to try an assassination attempt, send the grounder who's been doing things like that all his life, not the 18-year-old girl who can't be stealthy to save her life. I'm just saying. Okay, number 4 is episode 303, and that is double ship stuff because of Clark and Rowan trying to plan to kill Lexa or trying to make a deal. Still love that scene on the balcony between them, though. And then we also have Clark and Lexa, when Clark holds the knife to Lexa's throat and when she tells Lexa to go float herself. Because that anger is what I was hoping for from Clark, because after what Lexa did back at the mountain with that betrayal and walking away, Clark has a right to be angry, and she still should be angry, but she's not. So that episode was why I liked it for Lexa. And number 5 is 301, mainly because of that whole singing in the rover with the delinquents. I really like that. So unfortunately, guys, 306 did not make top 5 in regards to the ship oriented list. Now, as it goes to non-ship focus, first one is episode 304 because of the fight between Lexa and Rowan, which led to the Ice Queen being killed. 2 is 302 because of Bellamy and Clark, the whole search to find Clark, which is fantastic, whether it's a ship or not. 3 is episode 301 because of the delinquents singing in the rover and actually seeing how far they progressed in the last 3 months. Number 4 is episode 305 because of the fight between Bellamy and Clark. Number 5 is episode 303 because of the introduction of Polis, and the Grounder anthem was introduced in that episode, as well as a Grounder dressed Clark, I guess you can say. And number 6, again, is episode 306, tonight's episode, and that is because of Emerson's trial, for sure. So it looks like this episode did not make the top 5, but let's see next week to see what happens with 307 and where it lies on my top 5 chart. So that is about it, everybody. What did you guys think of the episode? Is it what you expected? You hope for something different to happen? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. Also, any of your thoughts, theories, and predictions. Love to hear those too. Let's keep the conversation going. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. Don't forget to share this video with any other friends in the 100 fandom. Keep the conversation going like always. Also, check out my Tumblr page, guys. I reblog the 100 a lot. I think I reblog it the most because so much of it pops up on my dashboard. But I reblog promos, synopses, GIFs, quotes, sneak peeks, web clips, all of that. Links for those down below, whether you want episode specific or whether you want any tag related to the 100. Just click on the link and scroll all the way to the bottom and you'll find the 100 related tags. And that's about it. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'm so sorry for the delay in the posting. Reality got in the way, like I said, and I didn't have the time to watch it and create the video until now. So, thank you for your patience. I hope you come back next week to see what I have to say about episode 307. But until then, this is Mel, wishing you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.